it really is amazing how she's been elevated to the nominee without a single vote being cast for her. First time in my life I've agreed with BLM, which is tweeting nonstop about that, saying, this is undemocratic, what you're doing. Last night. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was shocked when I saw that. I mean, I find myself, and I'm sure you are surprised by this as well, in the unenviable and surprising position of agreeing with BLM and Bill Maher and so many people who, organizations that may have their own particular attitude about how things are supposed to be in this country, and we are now finding ourselves converging with a common ground of common sense.
Mm-hmm. So last night, did you watch the remarks?
And I think I may have. There you are. Oh, of course I watched it. Yeah, and I was look. I have to give you a caveat on my position about Joseph Biden. First of all, he's not Joe Biden. He's not some happy, cheerful uncle. He's a hair-sniffing, child-curious person who's been a bagman and a political hack for 50 years. He has never done anything but service himself and his family. He is more of a flip-flopper than the little squirrels I have sitting out by the pool right now. Whatever way the wind blows, Joseph Biden, okay, is the man that we are looking at White House, who has been a puppet for somebody, I don't know who, for the last 4 years, and has been a political hack for 46 years before that. But here's the problem. He clearly has dementia of some kind. I don't know if it's Lewy body. I don't know if it's Alzheimer's. I don't know if it's frontal lobe dementia. I don't know what is afflicting him, but I have a cardinal rule about these things. I think it is cruel. It is unkind. It is incorrect. And it is not fruitful in any way to torture a person who is mentally, I won't say mentally ill, but who is suffering from cognitive decline at such a rapid and alarming rate as he is. So from the time he got sick, which was probably before he was even elected, but certainly by his first year in office, he, as the person he is now, is no longer fair game, I believe. However, the loathsome, disgusting political hack that he was for over 4 decades in this country is certainly fair game. What he did to Justice Clarence Thomas during those hearings was so vile that how any, his famous statement when he was talking to Charlemagne de God, he was, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. It's like he's the most racist president we've ever had since before Jim Crow. I mean,
it is amazing. And you've got him. He tried to take down Clarence Thomas. His vice president, Kamala Harris, tried to take down Brett Kavanaugh on flimsy allegations that she used to make herself look tough. But you're right, because we are being gaslit right now about both of them since the strong arming worked to get him out. Last night, I'll play you a little bit of his remarks just so the listening audience knows what we're talking about. And then I'll play you some of the reaction discussing him as just this selfless man who loves democracy. Okay, so let's just listen to Biden last night in what turned out to be a very harshly partisan address from the Oval Office. Take a listen.
Between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division, we have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect, freedom, justice, and democracy? The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands.
It's appalling.
Right? So it was all, really, he was using his 11-minute farewell to stick the dagger in Trump.
But honestly, it's staggering. So unity is so important. Unity, when you call half the country MAGA degenerate Nazis and their candidate is Hitler, which they said 10,000 times in lockstep themselves, the most Nazi-esque behavior you could ever imagine. You know what Nazis do? They imprison their political opponents. They marshal their lawfare army and they go after you and try to destroy you. When you're in office, they create false mandates. They create false fictions. The Russia hoax led by that pencil-neck geek who unfortunately is one of the representatives in my state, Adam Schiff. By the way, what happened at the Standard, Adam? Another question. Ed Buck's buddy, Adam Schiff, who is literally one of the few people in the history of the United States House of Representatives who has been censured for being a liar. Okay? They try to destroy, and none of it works. Then one of their minions, one of their insane followers who's been fired up by their hateful, non-unity rhetoric, decides to try to put a bullet in the leading candidate for president of the United States. And a third of them, according to polls, say that they wish the assassin hadn't missed.
That's right.
You tell me if that's you. You tell me if that's love. It is, you talk about this isn't a dictatorship. We don't have emperors and kings here. Well, you got a candidate now who's going to be running for president of the United States who's never gotten a single vote in a caucus from her party.
Yeah,
okay?
What we've seen with her is the closest thing we've seen to a coronation since we broke off from old Great Britain. But because it's important to give him his payment, right? His payment for withdrawing under duress was, we'll make a king out of you, and then she'll be the queen. But we'll make a lion out of you. You'll get your library. We'll say the nicest things. You'll be the greatest thing since George Washington. And the media did its part. They understood that was the deal. They lived up to the deal. I give you a sampling from last night after the speech, SOT 5.
This was a speech for the history books. This is the type of speech that will be replayed for decades to come.
This moment puts him, with a bunch of American greats, the sort of George Washington.
This was selfless. This was selfless on a level, I think, that's important in a way that we talk about George Washington being selfless and saying, I could keep doing this for me because I think I can.
That's the question, does character still matter? Well, it does tonight. It does tonight. The kid with the stutter did good. He did good. That's a good man. He fell on the sword. He had somebody sitting in that chair, and he wouldn't give up power no matter what. Wouldn't give up power, let there be an insurrection, wouldn't get out of that chair. Even when the people voted for you to get out the chair, he wouldn't get out the chair. And you got somebody who's sitting in that same chair showing that character does matter.
Gratitude is the word for so many people in this country pointing to Joe Biden now and calling him a patriot who stepped in when democracy needed it.
Unbelievable.
To hear anyone in his or her right mind compared to George Washington is just laughable. It's laughable and it's painful to think that we have to deal with this. I'm in an organization, a wonderful organization called the Sons of the American Revolution. I'm a direct ninth generation descendant of Gustavus Reeb, who fought at the Battle of Cowpens, which was the battle that was featured in the wonderful movie that Roland did with Mel Gibson called The Patriot. Great Patriot ancestor was wounded there. When I see what this country has become under Joe Biden and is destined to be further eroded under Kamala Harris if lightning strikes 5 times in a bottle and people end up being stupid enough, honestly, to believe the lies about her and from her. I can't imagine that my ancestors are not spinning in their graves.
Do you owe back taxes? Pandemic relief is now over. Along with hiring thousands of new agents and field officers, the IRS has kicked off 2024 by sending over 5 million pay-up letters to those who have an unfiled tax return or have a balance owed. Don't waive your rights and speak with them on your own. Don't do that, for God's sake. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, has saved over $1 billion in back taxes for their clients, And they can help you too. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, they can help you. Whether it's business or personal taxes, even if you have the means to pay, or if you don't, if you're on a fixed income, they can help finally resolve your tax burdens once and for all. Call 1-800-245-6000 for a private free consultation, or just visit tnusa.com/Megyn. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.